Hey gamers, today we're looking at Tzolk'in and its expansion, Tribes and Prophecies. Let's check it out. So for the game's easy, every player is going to start with their own little player board. They're going to start with 3 little pawns of their color. They're going to start with 4 of these tiles, and then they're going to pick 2. Those will be their starting resources, and they'll start with that, and the iconography is pretty much the same. It sees here I get 12 corn, 3 stone, and 1 wood. And of course, they're all different. You could be going up certain tracks, technology tracks, or going up the God tracks there, or getting an extra worker. So there's lots of different things you can get here, resources and everything. But you're going to be picking 2 of those tiles as your starter. You're going to have your other pawns over to the side. You're going to have your track marker here. You're going to have all your little track markers on each one of the guys. I just put 1 out there, but each one of the tech advances and the God advances here. You're going to have your blue skulls somewhere over to the side, your resources, gold, stone, and wood over to the side. You're going to have this whole wheel set up with all the corn in the middle. You're going to put out these tiles with corn first, and then on the next spaces put wood on top of them. First player token is right here. You have these monuments. You're going to shuffle them and put them up here. These will never get replenished in the game, so once they're gone, they're gone. Then you'll put out the number 1 buildings, put them down here. You'll be replacing them after each player's turn, but when you get to the next blue symbol, you'll start on this blue symbol. When you get to this blue symbol, then you will switch them out with the number 2 buildings and go from there. All right, and that's basically the setup. So what you're doing is very simple. You're either putting workers down, all of them or just a few each turn, or you're pulling them off, one of them or all of them. The only other thing you can do is beg. Like if you're out of corn, you can beg for corn, and that gets you 3 corn, but you're going to move down one of these tracks. And obviously, if you can't move any further down these tracks, they have a negative one here, then you can't go, you can't do it. But anyway, how it starts, you're going to place them out in the lowest area. So usually the zeros first. Now, if there are other players, let's say there's someone here and here, then the lowest one would be the number 2 spot. So I'd pay 2 corn to put in there. Now, if I wanted to play 3 workers and I put the other 2 on zeros, let's say here, because they're the lowest ones there, but I had to put him on the 3, which paid 2 corn. So I pay 2 corn plus I put 3 workers down, so I pay 3 more corn. That'd be 5 corn I have to pay to place those all out. Now, I could have done that 1 at a time or 2 at a time or whatnot. Now, after everyone goes, the wheel is going to turn counterclockwise. And I should mention, you're always going to put like a little corn on each one of those spokes as they come about. I'll get to why in a minute. But as you see, as the turns keep going, the zero spaces become more available, and then you can move up the tracks here. Now, the next thing you can do is remove one of your workers and take the action stated on the wheel. And all these wheels are different. This gets you corn and wood. When you take it, it'll say, hey, these tokens are worth 4 corn. So you'll take this and take 4 corn. Once these are gone, no more corn there. The only thing that that always replenishes is the water for some reason. There's always 3 corn you can take here. If you go here, you can get 2, 3. The higher up you go, the more wood you'll get. Once you get the wood, then on the next turn, if someone gets up here, they can take wood or they can take the exposed corn that's underneath that wood. Now, if you ever wanted to get to the corn underneath there, you could burn the forest and just remove this one and then take the corn instead. But whenever you do that, again, you go down this track here. And of course, if you're at the very bottom, you cannot burn the forest anymore. And again, once everyone's you can pull 1 off, 2 off, but you can't, the only thing you can't do is pass. You can't pass. You're either putting 1 on or pulling 1 off. That's what you're doing every time. Now, that's the green track. This track gets you random resources. However, if you go, and this is the last 2 spots of all these spots, or the last one there, that means you can take any of the actions you wanted to. For instance, let's say we were all here, and I actually passed this space, and I want to take this action instead, which gives me another worker. Well, I would have to pay 1 corn, because that's behind me. So I'd pay the 1 corn, and I'd take that action and add another worker to my player area. Now, if I wanted to take maybe 2 actions back, it's like, oh, doggone it, I forgot I needed that now. Well, that would cost me 2 corn, and then I could do that one. But if you're up here in the last 2 spots of each one of the levels, then you can do to any of the previous actions for free. However, if your man on a subsequent turn goes off the board now, see they're off the board there, then you automatically get them back. They don't get to swing around again. They automatically come back, and you get kind of just wasted putting your worker down, which can happen if you're not paying attention in this game. Anyway, but that gives you random resources. This one will let you go up the tech tree, as you see. This one lets you go up 1. This one lets you go up 2. You're paying 1, 2, or 3 resources of any type. Again, resources are gold, stone, and wood. So you can pay any type to move up these tracks, and they give you different bonuses. So for example, this one will give you a +1 corn whenever you harvest corn, or a +1 corn whenever you harvest corn in the water area there. Or you don't have to burn down the forest. You can get that corn underneath those woods for free if you wanted to. If you're up here, then you would get 2 corn every time you get corn. Here gives you a +1 in every resource. Whenever you get a stone, wood, stone, or gold, you will get an additional one. Here, whenever you build one of these buildings, these are the buildings down here. Remember, these are monuments. But whenever you build one of the buildings, you'll get a corn or 2 victory points or -1 resource. So this one would cost only 3 wood instead of 4 wood if I wanted to get it. And by the way, if you're up here, then this would count and this would count. You would get a corn and 2 points too if you made it all the way up to this track. What this track does is help you move, take the advantage 1 ahead, which you usually can't go ahead. So for instance, if my guy was here and I really wanted to place, these are for crystal skulls, but if I really wanted to place here, I'd have to be up on this track for the ability to do that. Or here, whenever I take my man from this area, I can also pay a resource to move up one of these tracks, and this is where you're going to get a lot of points here. Or if I'm up here, then whenever I grab a blue skull, which are kind of rare in the game, I can grab an additional one. Now, on any of these tracks, if you're at the tippy top and you have to take one of these actions again, all you do is pay 1 resource and you get the various bonus. So this one, if you're on the green track, you get to go up any one of these tracks, or 1 resource for 2 resources. Or if you're up on this track, 1 resource for $3. Or if you're up on this track, 1 resource for a crystal skull. So that's what the tech tree means over there. Now the other things you can do, you can buy 1 building or 2 buildings here. And how this works, the reason it has a little X here, it says, hey, 1 building, you can get your bonuses, but not twice. You can build 2 buildings, but only once you're getting the bonus. And you can decide when you want that bonus. Usually it's going to be the first building. So buying buildings, very easy. Now, if it's right here, you have to buy one of the bottom buildings here. You just pay the resource and you get the reward. This is, hey, you can avoid feeding a worker, which I'll talk about feeding workers in a minute, or move up a track, or move up a tech tree. They're very self-explanatory, and the rules will explain each one. However, if you're up here and I removed 1, I can build any 2 of these, or a monument. Now, remember, these are usually in-game points here, and so you want to grab a monument while you can, because once they're gone, once these 6 are gone, there's no more coming in the game. This track here lets you pay 1 resource, and you move up 1 on 2 different tracks here. And then, of course, this lets you do anything. This is a grab bag of things. 3 corn goes up 1 of those resources. 1 corn for, you can exchange corn for resources, and how you do that is right here. It tells you how much corn you have to pay for those resources. Or you can give up those resources for more corn, whatever you want. This one gives you an extra worker. This one lets you build a building using corn, but every resource costs 2 corn. So if I wanted to buy this, it'd be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 corn, and I can buy this. I can't mix and match. I have to pay in corn, but that'll let you pay in corn to buy a building. And then over here, you pay 1 corn to any one of these actions. You pay the corn, except for this action here. You pay the corn and you can do it. So for instance, if I wanted to buy another building and I was here, I could pay 1 corn plus 2 more corn and do that action if I wanted to. And of course, this lets you do any of them. This is for crystal skulls. Once you place a crystal skull, you'll move up that track on the God track. You'll get victory points, and sometimes you'll also get resources as well. But once someone places a crystal skull there, no one else can score that for the rest of the game. So these are first come, first serve. The other place you can go is you can go to the first player marker. When you go here, you get, remember, every time you're turning it, you actually should be putting corn on each one. So let's say I turned it again and got 1. Okay. So I place here, first off, I'm going to get all the corn on those wheels. Huzzah for me. All right. And then I'm also going to take the first player token. I'll be first player on the next turn. Now this guy automatically comes back to me at the end of my turn. All right. Now other players can play there too, but you can. Now when you do this, you have the option of turning this wheel on your turn twice, like moving 2 spots instead of 1. Now sometimes you want to do that to move your player up some. The only times you can't do it is if you're eliminating other players by doing that. You can't turn it 2. Okay, because, oh, if I turn it 1, I'll eliminate 1 player, but if I turn it 2, ha 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 ha, both of them go. No, I wouldn't be able to turn it 2 because you couldn't do that, especially if a player was right let's say they're right here, and turning it 2 would move them way past the spot. You know, they were here, 1, 2, then you couldn't do that either. It's screwing the other player over, so it won't let you do that. Also, it won't let you do it if you go past one of these little markers, because these are kind of midway checkpoints in the game here. So just to let you know what that first player token does. Now, let's talk about what orange does, what blues do. Well, the first orange you encounter, what you're going to look is you're going to look up on this track. And depending on how high you are on the track, you're going to get all the rewards. So for instance, I would have gotten 1 stone. Here I would have gotten 2 gold. And here, let's say I was right here, I would have gotten let's say I'm up here. Crystal skull, a wood here, and a wood there. So very nice, right? Now, well, you have to feed your workers. How much does each worker cost? They cost 2 corn to feed, minus any farms you have, but 2 corn to feed. And if you cannot, you must pay the corn. You must pay the corn to feed them. And for every person you can't feed, you lose 3 victory points on the track here. Okay, so that's why these are very important. Now, when it gets to blue, after you get the first blue, remember, you're wiping out all the rest of the number. When someone buys the number 1 building, you're just replacing it from the stack here. But when someone hits that first blue, you're taking all the number 1 buildings out, and then you're going to put number 2 buildings out to replace those. Okay, so that's kind of how that's going to work. And then you're going to replace these at the end of every turn. But also on blue, you're going to be scoring the victory points over to the side here. And for the first blue score point, you'll score whoever's top track here. And for the second blue, you'll score whoever's ever top track on these up here. It just tells you the 2 score tracks here. So and by the way, up to the tippy top, only 1 person may be there. And you're thinking, well, what's the point? Well, remember, if they burn wood or they have to beg, they're going to move down a little bit. So that can happen in the game. But anyway, they'll get the points whenever it's a blue turn. They'll get the rewards whenever it's an orange turn. But every time, they do have to pay. Each time, they do have to pay and feed their workers each time. Now, I should mention, if you are turning it 2, you can only do that usually once in the game because you have to flip this over to its dark side. However, if you make it up to the top of one of these tracks, you can flip it over, and next time you take first player, do it again. Speed up the game. But the only time you can flip this back over is by reaching one of the top tracks there. So it's not done that much, if at all, in our games. The game will finally end when you get to the second blue stack there. Now, once that's over, what you're going to do is you're going to convert all of your leftover goods into corn. Every 4 corn is 1 victory point. Any leftover skulls is 3 victory points. And then you'll add up any bonuses you got from any of the monuments you have. And whoever has the most points wins. Now, I should mention this comes with an expansion too, Tribes and Prophecies. First off, you got the Prophecies track here. You're going to shuffle these prophecies, put them over to the side, lay out 3, and it'll tell you, hey, there's no prophecies for the first round, but for each other round, the first blue, the first orange, the last blue you're taking on here, for each of those prophecies, you have certain goals you have to meet, and the rule book will tell you which one is. And if you do it, like if I build 1 to 0 homes in that quarter, I'm getting minus 5 points. However, if I build 7, I'm getting 13 bonus points there. So each quarter round here will give you plus and minus points in the game. Another thing, it comes with more buildings and more corn, because you have to put another corn and wood field out for a 5th player, because it can come with more resources in a 5th player as well. It also comes with this extra starting tile that's optional to play with, but you're playing with 5, then you have to move this over here. And then what you're doing is you're shuffling this deck for part 1, and then when you get to that first blue, you're shuffling this part. And then you just flip it over. It says flip them over and lay them on the track there, but that's kind of hard to do, especially with the corn there. But you just flip it over, put it there, and now anyone who goes here pays 1 corn, and instead of getting first player, they can get the action here, whatever the action. And their actions are very self-explanatory there. That's another little mini expansion that came with the, another little module that came with the expansion. And the final module is, of course, the tribes here. So what you're going to do, shuffle this out, give people 2, and then they'll choose 1. And the special, and this isn't on top of all the starter tiles you get, and it gives you 1 speciality for the game. And that's the game. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, this is one that has been on my "you would also like this" forever, and I just never saw the love for it. But had a traded in, got this one, have to get the expansion because I got to have it all, complete us, and yes, it is fun. Now, here's the thing. I haven't gotten the whole of the game. I've only played it twice, to be fair. One without the expansion, one with the expansion. Either or. Either or. You can play the base game and have a ton of fun. With the expansion, I may want to play because I want to see what those other tribes will do. I've only played with one tribe right now. And they were pretty good. And some tribes, it just depends on what your strategy is going to be. But you got to work your strategy around the strength of your tribe, of course. So overall, it's very interesting because I'm still trying to figure out all these wheels within wheels because it's hard to plan out things perfectly because you have to pull one out. You have to put one down. And sometimes you don't want to pull any off. You want everything to stay because you're like, oh, I need one more turn. One more turn of that wheel, which is why if you take first player, you kind of turn it twice so you can get a little bit ahead. But you can only do that once. And I think that's powerful because that ends the game quicker. But for me, like I said, it's a little balanced. Like I haven't won yet. We tied. And I don't think there's a tiebreaker. I couldn't find it in the rules. But we tied the second game we played. And I couldn't find the tiebreaker on there. It may be most corn, which I think I would have won. But either way, just you have to get up those God tracks. That is so important. But to do that, you're also going to need lots of corn to feed your people. You're going to need lots of resources because buildings are good points too. And you want buildings. You want monuments. Dude, you want to get crystal skulls so you can plant them on that Chitzia, whatever, the blue wheel too, which never got used to the last round. Now, to be honest, the tribes and prophecies put certain emphasis on certain areas, which I like and don't like. And the extra bonus spots you can put on there on top of the player order one, I did like those. Sometimes those are super popular because you wanted to put them down and you can get your player right back. So it gives you some time to get those other people on the wheel. But dude, not being able to feed my workers, holy cow, that killed me. I didn't buy farmland the first time, and now you really should buy farmland to feed some of your people. Because that was just killing me. Every time I made points, I just sucked them all down with the men there. So, like I said, I'm still getting the whole hang of it. I'm keeping the game. Like I said, I'm enjoying it. I just need to get the whole hang of it because I don't think anyone has gotten past 65 points. I think we were in the high 50s the first game, and then we got to the mid 60s the second game. And I'm sure if we were to play it more, we get higher. Not that a high score equates to how much I love the game, but I'm just saying just getting used to all the turns and the strategy. It's going to take me a minute. It is. I think it's more strategic than the game lets on. Usually you see, oh, this is a really easy game. And yeah, in a way, but you're trying to go up 4 or 5 different wheels at the same time, trying to figure out where's what. And who do I need to place and who do I need to pull? And you can't do both. That's another big one too. Like, dude, I want to pull him, but I've got to place this guy right now. This is the perfect time to place him. So really, a lot of strategy here. And I mean, the jury's out, and I think I'm going to keep it for now because I do find it intriguing. I just haven't found, but of course I've only played it twice for the review, but I just haven't found the right setting on it. There's a few games I've kept like that, what was it? Castles of Burgundy, just this year. It finally clicked. I've been keeping it around, not really, getting the scores, and now I've really got the strategy of Castle Burgundy, and it's shot up my list. Now, one of my favorite games of all time. And Tzolk'in may be the same. Who knows? But anyway, gamers, that's all I got for now. I'll see you next time. Until then, game on!